Comedy, mushroom, cult, podcasts. Holy moly, guacamole. How are we feeling, everybody? We doing well? Sorry, we're on a bit of a delay on the release of the podcast. My voice is sounding timbery today. I think I like it. I I was on a pretty good work stretch. Here's my favorite thing about doing this stupid fucking podcast is like I can already tell just how much of a better mood I'm in just by like talking. I think there might be something to just saying things out loud that we've lost as a society. It'd be cool if there was like a person that you could like talk to for like and they would like help give you guidance in life. You know, I understand that like therapy is like a thing. I get that. But like we've monetized that, like everything else. Like we've monetized friendship. That's basically what therapy is. Is like your one friend who's really good at giving you advice. And I mean they're not supposed to give you advice, but like essentially they're not supposed to give you it. Like that's the job is to not give you advice. Because then if it goes wrong, you blame them and then you can like sue them or something. I don't know. But like it just like here's the importance of community. And I understand that I was a little harsh last week. I think I called a lot of you stupid. I mean I didn't say it by name. And I don't know exactly anybody who's listening to this who would be considered stupid. I think it's more to rile your thinking minds here and point out things that we all have inside of ourselves. But the thing that frustrates me so much about modern society is how isolating it is. And we don't want to do this like male loneliness epidemic because like just be like not weird and you won't have a male loneliness epidemic. Like it's important for those males to be lonely. Like if you at any point have seriously said there's a male loneliness epidemic, you're just a nerd and you're supposed to be alone. The problems that happen now is we tried to include too many nerds because we thought that would stop people from shooting up schools. And that obviously hasn't happened. I mean, like, don't beat up gay kids for being... We've done this talk before. You understand my stance on this. It just didn't work. So, like, let us bully the nerds again. Make them be alone, you know? I'm pretty sure, like, we've been very open about not fucking weirdos. You know what I mean? Like, all these women who are like, men are the problem. And these conservative men, and then like we'll have like a conservative boyfriend and be like, well, but he really mean. And it's like, no, you idiot. I would say that men do the same thing, but like, I mean, they don't. Most men wouldn't look into somebody's politics if they were getting laid regularly. They'd be like, yeah, she's great. I was talking to a friend. See, isolating, you know? I was talking to a friend yesterday about a new friend. I'll put her in the friend realm. It's like many friendships that I have. It starts with them thinking that I'm just a deplorable person, and then like coming around to like not the bit, but like what it is. They kind of understand the whole thing. Like my dumb irony laced nihilism or whatever the fuck. Whatever we want to put on it. But like we were talking yesterday, just like an update on like my dating lifestyle recently. And I'm like the women I've been like hanging out with and like hooking up with are like psychopaths. Like and she's like, isn't it weird that like you're calling the women psycho? And I was like, no. I understand that that's what I'm putting out into the world. Like this is 100% a me thing. Like I invite not the best out of the people that I've been around, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I'm a very accepting person, and I'm like a very mirroring person, and I like if I'm in a spot where I'm like looking for somebody to be a little unhinged, I think I will allow people to channel that part of themselves, and I interact with it because it's like entertaining and it's fun. But then you take a step back and you're like, "Oh, that's not healthy for anybody involved." I'm a psychopath for allowing them to like carry on in a way that I'm sure they're not happy about themselves carrying on and about. And I think that's where boundaries are important. That's what boundaries are. That's why you set them up. Be like, hey, we're not going to act this way to each other. Because then once you crack that door open, you're both like, oh, I can get away with, like, being a little crazy. And then a little like, then you heighten it up to get that dopamine kick. But it helps you, like, just, like, talking that through. And by zero means am I calling any of the recent women that I've been, like, legitimate psychopaths. I think that they're nice people. I mean, they're attractive women who are into my dumb bullshit, and some of them let me see them naked. What's to hate about that? And overall, they're nice people. It's just the attitude, like the thing that the chaos I've been putting out lately embraces their chaotic nature. So they're like a reflection of my activities. And instead of like taking, like in a fun, flippant conversation, I understand that this is on tape and on the internet and whatnot. People are making noise in the hallway. That's always good. Like, here's the fun part about our society currently is like every time I hear noises in the hallway, I'm like, did they let fucking ice in here to to kill me? But as former comedian, I don't know if he's a comedian still. He was very funny. If he's no longer doing comedy, he always wore a suit. Very interesting. Willis Gordon once said, "You're not important enough for them to try to take you down," and we're working on that. So like I don't know why I'm worried about that, but no, like, and it's the thing in the world. Like it's a reflection of what you're putting out into the world. You know. So, in a flippant, like, nonsensical, just, like, talking shit with a friend conversation, you're not going to say, I'm a psychopath, so I've been searching out women who are into that chaotic nature that I can bring to a situation sometimes when I'm not entirely taking care of myself, mentally, physically, spiritually. You're going to say that I'm dealing with psychotic women. And I think that that's a fun thing to be able to have that look at yourself that you would only have if you're talking to another person or to a group of people through an online podcast that seems to be growing. Thank you guys. I'm going to try to continue to be vulnerable even though more eyes are on me. And that opens up to more scrutiny. I think the solid core of the people on this understand that we embrace hyperbole on this podcast. There's like a base truth to everything that we say, capital T truth. Lowercase t, alternative facts. Never let the facts get in the way of the capital T truth is something that I like to say. That's like the line from V for Vendetta. Artists tell lies to tell you the truth, or artists use lies to tell you the truth. Governments use lies to hide it from you. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to let the facts of the matter get in the way of the point we're trying to make here. But it needs to be, but it's one of those things where you're like, oh, let's continue to be vulnerable, but also, like, be careful exactly what you're putting out into the world. I mean, it's my goddamn legal name on this shit. Maybe my sinuses are a little fucked. Maybe that's why my voice is all timbery. but I don't have like a sinus headache. So I was thinking about wearing sunglasses today, just 'cause I was feeling it. And then I looked into the mirror and I was like, do you know what? I look better without them today. This outfit is giving. I got my Fishaholic Wisconsin shirt. One of my favorite trips ever. There's a gas station in Elko, Wisconsin that is their gas station, city hall, clothing store that I bought this at. Like a gig that I made like $75 at. I spent 30 of it on this t-shirt and probably and like 20 of it on gas. And every once in a while I'm like, I wonder why I have financial issues. But then like 4 years later, 4 years later, I get to wear my Fishaholic Wisconsin shirt and say things like I'd rather be fishing and just be in on like an inside joke between me and a person who had a legitimate mental breakdown. Because I embrace those people. I like having visual representation of the chaos that I like to be in my mind. It's good. It's fun. It keeps you on your toes. Like that's a joke that I made about my ex when we were first breaking up of like when she moved out at first, like it was like a weird gray area like any relationship that's been going on for a while. It's like, is this actually over kind of deal? So there's that like, yes, it's over. But like, are we like over, or were we both just like unable to have like an adult conversation about where we are as people? And then you have that weird thing, and then like you carry on and you're like, no, this is just not the person for me. But like her stuff was still here for a while, right? And she had to come back down here for like appointments and stuff every once in a while. And so she would like come to the apartment and like start taking a few things with her. And when like one of like the first initial move out things, I was like, oh, there's like most of the shit is here, you know? But then I like tried to cook some chicken or something, and it was like it was one of those like ADHD days where I didn't want like a weird gristly piece of chicken or like it being a little undercooked. Any of the people who know my jokes will know that that's like a real thing and a fun setup to a joke, or a fun part of a joke. But like you get like that weird tactile chicken taste where you're just like, this could have cooked like a little longer. So like I wanted to check the temperature with the meat thermometer. And she like took the meat thermometer, nothing else. And like the joke was that like she's trying to like have psychological warfare. Like that's the thing I miss from this like codependent, borderline unhealthy, very unhealthy, borderline other words that I'm not going to frame it on because whatever, I'm sure she's a nice person to somebody, not to me for many years, but like, you know, I'm sure I'm responsible for part of that. I understand I can be grating, but like I was like, that's the thing that I kind of miss, is always having to have my head on a swivel, always like having to be on your game a little bit because you never know what's going to happen. Like you don't know if somebody's going to take just the meat thermometer as some sort of like weird psychological warfare, or if they're going to hit you in the face in front of your grandma. You know, like, you need to, like, have those, you need to have those, like, now, obviously, it's not funny. But, I mean, it happened. And you're just like, okay, now we know that that's, like, a possibility. So you kind of have to be ready for anything. And that's good for you. I mean, not really. I mean, it breaks you down. But then when that goes away and you're out unleashed onto the world, and like the cutest you've ever been probably in your life, unfortunately, not to toot my own horn and suck my own dick, toot my own dick, if we will. Somebody's got to do it. But we're having fun today. But like, you know what I mean? Like it keeps you sharp. It keeps your brain working. And when you don't have that for a while, you're like, "Oh, let's find a woman with like a little bit of chaotic energy and let's see if she can match my freak, if you will." Uh some never we don't need to give away everything on here. We don't need to talk that much shit. We're being a little wide open. But it seems like we're coming out of it's April. Hey, happy April. Had a weird March, you know? International Women's History Month really takes it out of a fella. but 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 now that we're back, now that we don't have to worry about women reigning supreme for a month, now we're in April. This is my month. I started hitting a vape again. I had a very crazy work stretch. We'll go through it. Starting last Friday, from 10 to 6, I had to work at Soldier Field. Then from 1 a.m. to 9 a.m., cleaned the bowling alley. Saturday, I had the daytime off, but then had to clean the bowling alley from 1 a.m. to 9 a.m., Saturday night, Sunday morning. Then had a show at a live one for Crushes. It was a fucking blast. There were like 3 crowd members there and the rest were comics, but it was one of those like one for us kind of shows. That like was like it was very fun. And it was like one of those like this is what comedy's for, is to just be a little silly and be a little fun and just fucking go for it because there's nothing to lose. It was a great time. Then had to work 10 to 6 the next day. And because my direct deposit got messed up at the new job, I had to it took me 3 hours to go from Soldier Field to the bowling alley because the CTA was CTAing. But it was a gorgeous day. Got to walk through multiple parks, got to take a walk through Logan Square, and then go home. Like it was a 3-hour jaunt. Then the next day I had to wake up, do an interview at 10 in the morning, phone interview. Then work from 3 p.m. and I got off at 12:45 a.m. And then yesterday had to go do an in-person interview at 9:30 and then go work from 11 to 5 something. Then I had a show last night at 6:30. That was done at 7:30. So I've been hustling. Hey, Mr. Carter. I've been hustling. So I spoiled myself. I got myself a vape, we're on it. I understand that I also smoked weed last night and had a pizza. We were celebrating that. It's not going to be a regular thing now, again. We've found where our bounds are. And in case you didn't realize, I was joking about International Women's History Month being the reason for my slight mental. There's just one of those things that, and I do it every time that I come out of one of these things, is you have to remember to kind of embrace it instead of fighting it. Hey, you're in a down spot. Fucking lock in and work your way out of it. And this is a fun little... This isn't... By no means am I co-signing this phrase. But there's something that I had, kind of a thought. Especially in a capitalistic society that we live in. Where, so much of your success... so much of your mental health and your physical health and how your life goes is tied to how much money and capital and how useful you are to the system. So much, you can get therapy, you can get health care, you can get healthy food, you can get access to places that aren't just able to walk to or bus to or train to. You can have a vehicle. You can fly places. You have to, like, earn your way into, like, living an enjoyable life, right? Which is just evil at its base. I understand the point of, like, in the shiny, glossy, happy eyes of people working with perfect information, making the best choice for them, and businesses filling those needs through supply and demand, like a classic capitalistic structure is supposed to work. I understand the appeal of that. That makes sense to me. But when we monetize electricity or cell phones to talk to people, water costs money. Now I understand that, like, that's going, like, water and, like, housing should water should be free, housing should probably be free, but I understand the idea of, like, having a little bit invested in the game. Like, you're going to take care of the place that you live in because you're paying some money for it, and you also don't want to get charged for it, right? You're not going to waste electricity because it costs you money. Now tell that to fucking companies like Meta and Amazon and places that just, like, want to make their own nuclear plants to fucking fuel data centers. But you understand the point that I'm making here. But there's a Venn diagram that I realized this morning, because it's one of those things where I was like, every single time I'm kind of in a jam, what gets me out of it is just, like, putting your head down and working through it. Not like you sit with your feelings, you let them work through you. There's not really, you don't fight them. You don't, like, but, like, every time it's just like, hey, we were getting a little loose. We got we got off the rails. We need to get back on the rails and stick to the plan for a little bit, and things go better. But then, of course, just the way that my mind works, like, it gets a little darker. You try to extrapolate that, not just to me as the canary in the coal mine that I use for society. I don't understand how other people feel. I live through experiences, and I assume that, like, what I'm going through is something that most people go through. They just maybe don't know the right way to describe it. So I get to be the mouthpiece of maybe the darker side of life, right? And there's nothing more that I enjoy than I love life. I enjoy life. I love laughter. That's my job. But I also understand my job. See, we're even framing it in a cat. Like, that's what I like to do. That's what my purpose in life is to make the world lighter for people, right? I do that through silly jokes. I do that through talking to dozens of people at a time. I do that through trying to bring levity to dark situations. That's why I think I'm doing. It's very weird when things are going well, and you're like, guys, but there's still, like, bad things out there, and we need to not ignore them. Kind of like the suicide talk that we had last week. Like, hey, I know that things are going well, but there's this dark side of life that we need to acknowledge so we don't forget that it's there and let it creep its way in, right? So me putting my nose to the grindstone, working my way out of the situation. There's a Venn diagram of capitalism and concentration camps that overlaps at work sets you free. Right? Like the slogan that would name your favorite concentration camp. Auschwitz, Dachau, however you say that. I'm not a big concentration camp aficionado, But they all had the German that says work sets you free or work liberates you. What do we got to do in capitalism to get what we want? To earn freedom through money. You got to work, bitch. As financial scholar Britney Spears once said. Free Britney. Right? Work, bitch. The Venn diagram of Britney Spears, capitalism, and concentration camps. They all converge at work sets you free. So that's what made me giggle this morning, is making that revelation. Name your favorite concentration camp is crazy. Broadview, Illinois is it's my support your local concentration camp. Off to a great start. 26 minutes, guys. Give or take a few seconds. It's good. Oh. Hey. Guys, just through friendship and financial dire straits and just like the kindness of people's hearts. Because of course we're going to go into it this way. We have a podcast sponsor. And I need you guys to understand. I know small business owners that listen to this. I know that I know other people who have things. Like, I need you to understand how easy it is to have me talk about your thing. Whether it be your coffee shop. Shout out Copilot Coffee. You get a forever loose sponsorship, because if you run a truck into a house and you're going to fail the drug test and you need to work for another couple months before you move to Chicago to chase your dreams, your friend Amelia at Copilot Coffee in Waukesha, Wisconsin is going to hook you up with a job again, because you're good at it and you're nice and you're a good person to have around. You're a real team player. So, I mean, there's that. But I don't know. Maybe you run a bingo night. Maybe you have knickknacks that you sell. Maybe you're like a hairdresser, or you do nails, or you're a photographer. Like, maybe, like, whatever your dumb shit small business is. And I understand that it's your I run a dumb shit small business. I mean that with all love. I need you to understand how easily affordable it is to make me gush about your business. Because our new sponsor, for at least a little bit, I don't know exactly how many episodes I'm going to let them sponsor me for the amount of money that they floated me and gave me the other day. But it is shockingly affordable. Like, I was working on like a real corporate-ish sponsor. I need to follow up with that. I know I've been saying that for 2-3 weeks. I even made a segment just to we have a look at the balls on this guy, on that guy, whatever the fuck it's supposed to be. We have one coming up soon, and it was supposed to be for just this sponsor. I created a segment just for them. On a podcast it's not supposed to have segments. I'm willing to sell out for a certain amount of money. Sell out a little bit. I mean, I'm still going to talk about satanic pedophiles that run our country and eat children as well. I don't get it twisted. They're cannibalistic satanic pedophiles. But what makes it easier is if I have small business friends that do this, and it builds community. Because we're stuck in this capitalistic structure where work sets you free. And sometimes it works out for people and their business is successful. As I stumble through that, their business is successful. Say that 5 times fast and let me know how good you're at it. But fucking my buddy Daniel, who lives in Kent, I don't know if he's super we're not going to put that. I used to sell cars with him. We used to hang out on Sundays a lot. You know, like just great dude. A person that I've known for years now who has given me like a lot, like those friends that you have that you're like, this is exactly what they were talking about. And I mean, he's only like a few years older than me. But you know those people who have to like grow up a little bit faster than you and have like different life experiences? I remember one time I know it's like the Wolf of Wall Street talk, but kind of in reverse, where it's like he once told me, he's like, hey, I've made decisions based on money, and I've made decisions based off of what's going to make me happiest and what's going to make my life more fulfilling. And I promise you the money is going to show up when you make the life-fulfilling decisions, you know? Tim Smith, a stand-up comedian out of New York, lived in Chicago for a long time. I was talking to him about maybe like moving to a neighborhood a little bit further out of the city. He goes, don't do that. If you're worried about the money will always find its way there. But you have to be in the spot doing what you're good at. Right? And so you love to see people like that. Like my buddy, like Daniel Arendt, Daniel Arendt, I think is how you say it. I've never said it correctly. I know how to spell it, and I'm going to spell it for you because I want you to go. He's got a business. It's just turning a year old. It's a residential and commercial cleaning business in Northeast Ohio. That's working out for him. And I know if you run a small business, if you have a house in Northeast Ohio, look him up. It's ArendtServices.com. That's AURANDT services.com. I looked at the website. They got flexible scheduling, satisfaction guaranteed, all of that shit that you're looking for in like a cleaning service. Don't call Mary Maids. Don't call any service that you can find like in the yellow pages that like buy the spot. Go to ArendtServices.com and schedule a cleaning. Tell him that I sent you. I know Daniel. I know how fucking seriously he takes the things that he wants to take seriously. And I also know how silly he is. He's a cool fucking dude to talk to if you want. I'm sure he'd come over and talk to you while he cleans your house. Maybe tip him extra money for doing that. He's a good hang. Now, I will say, because if I'm going to advertise a company, I'm going to be honest with the people. There's a downside. He's a Notre Dame Irish fan, all right? Now, we need to cool it on the Catholics. We can't hold it against him. We're not the Klan here. But just know that he's going to probably try to talk to you about like the like New Rockney or like Brady Quinn. Or Riley Leonard, like some Matthew Golden, like some nonsensical Notre Dame Irish player. Because whatever, you know? He got indoctrinated young. You can't help it. He's from Northeast Ohio. He's from like the Youngstown area. Was he going to be a fucking Youngstown State Penguins fan? Like, even Jim Tressel couldn't, like, make people give a fuck about Youngstown State. And there was a thought that he was going to be a senator in Ohio for a hot second. We needed Jim. If we had NIL back in the day when Jim Tressel was the head coach, we would still be winning national championships right now. The terrible state of Indiana, where Notre Dame is at, wouldn't have a national championship. Ohio State would be the only place winning championships. We're fine. Ryan Day won us a national championship 2 years ago. And he beat Michigan last year, so now I have to shut the fuck up about Ryan Day. But Jim Tressel was the fucking man. Oh, some players got fucking tattoos and free cars and shit. If you're Maurice Clarett and you're the best thing that's ever happened to college football in Ohio, did he go a little crazy and try to fucking take a bunch of guns in a car? Sure. But you're not that fucking good at football without being a little off of your rocker. Watch Maurice Clarett highlight tapes, alright? It was the best time to be alive. And Notre Dame sucked at football. What's not important is college football from the early 2000s. What's important is have Daniel come to your house and clean your house or your business. AurandServices.com. AURANDT services.com. Just turned a year old. Thank you, Daniel, for sponsoring the podcast. I'm not going to tell you how much money he gave me the other day, but I guarantee you, for that ad on a more popular podcast, they would charge hundreds of dollars. And I'll probably do this for a couple more weeks to make it seem so I feel like less of a loser. I will. Hit me up. Tell me how much money you have for marketing. If you have another podcast, I'll pimp out your broadcast or your podcast probably for free if it's good and I like it. Mike and Joe have a show. Listen to that one. Joe Briggs, ex-co-host of this podcast, one of the funniest people in the world, has a podcast with his buddy Mike. Very funny guy. Based out of Cleveland. Very fun podcast. It's them shooting the shit. It's an old school, silly podcast. Does it have a theme? No. Does it need a theme? No. It's just fun entertainment. But I guarantee you're not going to get a better ad than what I just gave Daniel. Most bang for your buck. I've probably been talking about it for so long. It's been entertaining. And people are going to use that business. So if you don't want to clean your own fucking house, and you're in Northeast Ohio, hit up Daniel. The world is worlding. Here's the thing that we've been like kind of figuring out the obvious on what's good. If you're not sure what I'm talking about by the world is worlding, we're in a war, or as our beloved president has said, I got to use a different word than war because you actually have to go to Congress to get approval for that, and I haven't done that, so we can't call it a war. George W. Bush called it a police action. I don't think Trump's even pretending to try to do that. He's just kind of fucking doing it because nobody's going to stop him. But like one of the the obvious things, like we took over Venezuela so we could have oil because we were going to go after Iran. Now, did they think that they were going to fumble the bag this bad with Iran and keep oil prices oil prices are ridiculous right now because of the Strait of Hormuz being closed? A few ships are going out of it. But oil prices are ridiculous. But they go to Venezuela to make sure that we made that realization later. But I made the realization that I've come with all of the things that are we shot people to space to go around the moon for the first time in 50 years or whatever the fuck it is. And people are psyched about it. Hey, cool. Should we go to space? Probably. Does it help our technology? Sure. Does it get people interested in math and science to help further society? Sure. What do we do with it? We make social media sites and robots that steal our jobs. But math and science are important. I watched a video about how matter might not be real on YouTube through an astrophysicist. This woman was brilliant. It was very interesting, very engaging. Coffee stained teeth, terrible haircut, brilliant woman. Like you could tell, you could tell how good she was at her job by how little fuck she gave about how she looked on camera. Like, I think I'm pretty good at this. But I still take a peek at a camera before I go on. I'm still wearing a Fishaholic Wisconsin t-shirt and a hat because I don't want to do my hair well. And I have a very lo-fi setup because I believe in the product that I'm putting out there. I don't need to zhuzh it up. I don't need to make it shiny for you fucks because I know that it's good. Right? That's this lady. She knew astrophysics so well that she's like, fuck it, I'm going to wear what I'm wearing to work. I know I'm going to be on this thing that potentially tens of thousands of people are going to watch. And I do not give a single fuck about looking good. And it was very interesting. And I want more of those people in the world, right? And going to space does something cool that heightens that up. But also, I don't have health care, you know? My birthday is on Monday. I'm doing a super cool interview with a documentarian on Monday that'll probably come out next week. I'll probably attach it to next week's episode. It'll be very fun. It'll be a very interesting. I watched his documentary. It was we'll pimp that out next week. But like it's like space is interesting. Space is fun. It's something that we like. Flat Earth is only so weird because we care so much about space. The moon is only cool because like we can see it. We want to go up there, right? But like also, who gives a fuck? You know? Most of us are never going to go up there. The billionaires want to go to like this is they've basically said that this is to see how easily it could go to, like, a trip up there could be. Because billionaires want to build, like, a space colony where they don't have to pay taxes. Okay. That sucks. Like, they're going to use our tax dollars to go up there and see. And I mean, it's the same thing as going to Iran to use our tax dollars to further stuff their pockets. Like, Donald Trump and the people in his cabinet and Democratic and Republican senators and Congress people, of course, as well. Shout out Nancy Pelosi making money off the stock market all the time. We just bring it up as an example. It's not her. This isn't about her, but like it's an example that both sides do it. But I don't give a fuck about the moon, you know? But what it is it's good propaganda. Because we're in the fucking Cold War again. That's what this is. We're back in the Cold War. We're worried about nuclear bombs going off all the time. Will Israel use nuclear arms against Iran? Then if they do that, will Russia use nuclear arms? China, us. Fucking India's got them. Pakistan's got them. The UK, France. One of my favorite memes or like little graphics on the internet is that Japan has -2 nuclear weapons. Like it's not funny, but that's kind of funny. Because we fucking got them. War's stupid. Nuclear war is even worse. We didn't bomb Kyoto because the fucking guy went there with his wife. You know, shit like that. So like, we're in the Cold War. So we have to be like, hey, we've got rockets that go to the fucking moon. We got rockets that'll reach you for sure. Hey, everybody, be afraid of what's going on right now. So that you don't question what's going on right now. All to hide that our government and the world, really, is run by cannibalistic satanic pedophiles who are trying to use AI robots to overtake our lives. Like literally the same day or the day after I released that the robots are crashing through bus stops in Chicago and they're using AI and robots to steal our jobs and shit, Melania Trump comes out with an AI robot that's supposed to teach children. Fucking Brigitte Macron is out there with her for some reason. Some other lady. Like it was like a first ladies thing. You'd think that the Macrons would not want to be a part of anything in the U.S., but I guess they go off. Like, whatever. It kind of just shows that all of the elites are in it together, whether they say that they're not or they are, you know? So it's like I almost, like it was one of those, I thought about like getting out and moving somewhere. But there's only so many democracies in the world. I'm not going to go to the UK. I'm not going to be like our despotic leader here wants to be a king or a fucking dictator. So I'm going to go back to England, going to go back to merry old England because they speak English. Where they had, like, the reason America exists is because we wanted to get away from kings. Taxes mostly, but like kings. I'm not going to go to, like, any of these other countries because I don't know how, like, their language seems hard. But France, that seems nice. They've never done anything bad historically. But they've got one of the longest lasting democracies. Turns out not that important to their leader, apparently, for his wife to be kicking it with Melania. Showing off AI robots. So I guess France is out of, like, I'm not going to go there anymore. So we might as well just sit here and watch the world burn, you know? Like, the world's going to end regardless. You might as well do it in the best city in the world of Chicago, Illinois. Why move to Paris, the Chicago of Europe? But since we're in the Cold War, like, last time we were in the Cold War, we tried to overthrow the leadership in Iran as well. We did overthrow the leadership in Iran. We just haven't done a great job of it this time. Like, we've killed some of them. But we haven't, like, changed the regime at all. And, of course, American, Iranians, and Persians are super psyched that we killed, what's-his-face? The Shah of Iran, or not the Shah, who cares? Khomeini? Whichever one, like, because his kid's got a similar name, and he's in charge now. This is shit we were doing last time. Just to make everybody forget how terrible it is. Which is kind of encouraging. Like, if we're in the 70s, 80s right now, well, at the same time, the fucking 40s, that means maybe in another 10 years or so, when this blows over and World War III's done and we no longer have regular society because we've nuked everybody to death and countries are rubble again, and we have to pay billionaires to rebuild the country. You know, after that, society seems to tighten it, get its shit together every once in a while. It's the same thing as my dumb little, like, we had it too good for too long, and now we get a little loosey-goosey. We forgot about the bad side. And then people are like, hey, how about this shit? And you're like, well, no, that's bad. And they're like, nah, we'll try it out. And then it goes bad. But then it starts getting better again. You know, things are cyclical. But I think what they're doing is they're making it the Cold War to distract us about how fucking bad it is here. So we got to worry about over there. And be like, the bombs, the nuclear. But I don't understand. I don't think. Here's the thing about using fear as a motivation for so long. and not like real fear. People aren't bombing Chicago, right? I don't have to worry about getting killed just walking out my front door. Now random street violence happens and guns are everywhere and mass shootings happen. See the bullying thing that anti-bullying didn't work, so maybe maybe let's fund mental health research and make it a little bit more difficult to get your hands on the common sense things. But don't be mean to people. It's so much easier to say than to actually do anything. See my rant about protests last week. No Kings seem to have gone super well. We really stuck it to them. I love people protesting. Don't get me wrong. It's getting that many people involved is great. But it's quite literally better than doing nothing. Right? Fine. We're moving on. Better than doing nothing is good because it's better, right? It's not even the lesser of two evils. It's better than doing. It's better. It is a net win. Does it make any real sustainable change? We can have that argument later. I'm glad so many people showed up to it. It's protest season. The weather's nice. People are going to show up more. Not very many No Kings protests in the fucking winter months. Just pointing it out. But using fear as a motivator, after a while, you have to heighten the stakes. And the worst stakes that we have is nuclear war. But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I wish I was wrong more often, so you could correct me more often. Boy, do I like being corrected. I'll fight you a little bit, but then I'll say, yeah, do you know what? You're actually right. As one of the nice paramours I recently had, who held me to task about my Taylor Swift slander. Taylor Swift slander. Another. Say it 5 times fast. I fought her for, and I go, let's just get the baseline. You're right. She goes, that's the best thing you could have said. I go, yeah. I understand that you're correct. I'm not fighting the validity of how right or wrong this is. I understand the points you're making and the angle you're taking on this argument. You are correct. However, in 5 years when it comes out and she does something super evil, I'm going to end up being right. It's just going to happen. There's something weird. I don't like it. It's a vibe. It is what it is, right? But especially our generation, millennials, fuck Gen X, by the way. Just a quick fuck you. I don't have an exact way to nail it down, but I like that you guys are kind of getting forgotten in this mix. I understand that a lot of you are the reason why things are the way that they are right now. But it's kind of nice that it's kind of gone baby boomers to millennials as the two biggest, baby boomers, millennials, Gen Z. Gen X can go get fucked, okay? You got to benefit from the good stuff too long. So now millennials and Gen Z in their frumpy fucking outfits shaming us for having fun. Millennials and Gen Z, millennial is fun alcoholic mom. Gen Z is boring dad. You need them together to kind of make a good thing. If we can project mine. Wow. No, he wasn't boring. He was a bad person too. But anyways, you can't with our, ever since I can remember, we had the Gulf War, 9/11, Afghanistan, Iraq, now Iran, Coney 2012, fucking all of these things, right? Just the whole time, making sure that we stay scared, to stay compliant, to follow what the daddy of government says to do, to let it be okay. Hey, we're making you safer by taking away your freedoms. Yeah, there's cameras everywhere now. It's to make sure that you're safe. Oh, yeah, we're collecting all the data so then we can set up AI things just to make sure that you're safe. You're safe. You don't want the Iranians to come. You don't want the Russians to be able to, North Koreans, we don't want them to ever, the people that were like, oh, they're basically in the Stone Age, but we need to be worried about them getting nuclear weapons. Like things like that. Eventually, it just you're like, fuck it. At this point, if they're gonna, I hope if Iran, Russia, whatever country, drop the nuke on Chicago. Fuck it, I don't want Chicago to get nuked and everybody die. That would be terrible. War is terrible. Nuclear war is terrible. Death is bad. We all want to live. But fuck it, Like, I think that they underestimate the level of nihilism that we have. Like, that's why they make it harder to get information. That's why the stock market being touted as being up all the time is a good thing. Like, you're the problem if you're not thriving right now, is basically what they're doing, right? Same thing that they've always done, but now we've seen the playbook for so long. Like, at least find a new way to bribe us into wanting to do your dumb shit. Because I'm not afraid of getting bombed. I'm not afraid of the nukes. I'm afraid of being homeless. I'm afraid of being put into jail by my own... I'm afraid of getting shot on the street by my own government for protesting them kidnapping my neighbors. I'm not scared of Russia tampering with elections. I'm not scared of Al-Qaeda flying planes into buildings. I'm not afraid of those things. I've seen it. And what our people have done to us is so much worse than that. Now, not to lighten the thousands of lives lost on 9/11. See 8 million different 9/11 jokes since then. Because we kind of know and have known the whole time that it's horseshit. Another thing that came out in the Epstein docs, but I mean, again, let's forget about the Epstein docs. Call everybody conspiracy theorists, Let's forget about all that part. Because we need to be scared of Republicans. We just need to be scared so we do the things that they want us to do. But what are you afraid of? Is your life really that worth living right now? Are you thriving? And by no means do I want this. Again, we're not suicidal. We don't want it. But if the bomb dropped in Chicago right now and we didn't have to worry about all of the rest of this, would it be so bad? If another country came and overthrew our government and was like, hey, we're running it this way now, with that much change in your life, are you that afraid of it currently? Because it's not good here. So they need to find a different way to motivate us. I think that they've underestimated the level of nihilism that they've put into our society. And that's why this Iran war thing's not working. That's why even fucking MAGA people are like, hey, this isn't what I voted for. Like, even they're not... Now, is it too late? And still fuck them for putting us in this situation? Moderate conservatives still voting for Trump. Independents voting for him. The Democratic Party for running weak candidates who refuse to make a stance on anything because they're afraid that if they make a stance on something, they'll lose the independent vote that they never had in the first place. Fuck all of them still. But almost everybody's like, hey man, it quite literally couldn't get worse. So fuck it. Let Iran fucking nuke us. Leave him alone. I can't afford a gallon of gas. Now, should they have said that, like, when it comes out that he's, like, raping children, sure. That's when you should have probably jumped ship. At worst, when he tells a group of Christian leaders before the last election, I was saying it on stage. I didn't see anybody else saying it. Yes, I'm still watching the video. Fucking YouTube. Oh, we must be almost an hour into this podcast. We'll wrap this up in a second. Oh, we are almost exactly an hour in. Check us out. 2 long ones in a row. Thanks for your attention span. But you know what I mean? Like, what are we so afraid of that is worse than this now? Like, the only things that are really worse than this now: homelessness, death, being put into some sort of prison camp. There's tons of homeless people now. They're still alive. We need to get them help, but, like, whatever. There's tons of people in government detention centers just for being a different color or just speaking up against the government. So we're supposed to be afraid of these things that are actually real? Like, huh? And if you're falling for it again, no. Like, you have to still talk shit in the face of this. You can't make decisions and be like, well, you know, we need to support the country because Iran's coming after us and we need cheaper gas. No, you don't. Here's something to look forward to. We don't want to end this on a sad. I think that that's a positive note. That's kind of my, like, that's where, again, I think that that's a positive note. What do you have to lose? Do the thing. Live your life. Don't be terrified of the things that they're telling you to be afraid of. Shout out to Rubber City Comedy Festival. Olivia Rodrigo is coming out with a new album. She said it today. On the 2nd of the month. Can't do it on the 1st of the month because April Fool's. But Olivia Rodrigo is coming out with a new album. June 12th. She gave me 0 money. I'm still pimping it because I'm excited for it. I love Olivia Rodrigo. She's pop punk. I forget the name of it. It's something like You Seem Sad for Someone So in Love. Like, that's fun. As one myself, I love a hot person who is talented, that has just like an innate sadness in them. That's just like hey man, anything above, it's a win. You know, the world is not to be all Hobbesian about this, but the world is a dark, brutish place. And instead of using that as a way to control people, let that set you free. Yeah, it's dark and it's grungy. But do you know what's fun? Embracing that. And just fucking, okay, cool, we can laugh at it. Evil's not going away. I'm so sorry to break it to you. So not thinking about it isn't going to help. It just puts it in a dark corner. Not laughing at it isn't going to help. Saying that we can't talk about it or use certain words. Now, are there reasons not to use certain words? Yes. Okay, we're not making I should be able to say whatever words I want to say. Say them, but do it with intention. Do it well. If you're going to be sad, twist it into a way to make it good and to benefit society, you know? And that's what Olivia Rodrigo does. She's a Disney princess that went and, like, it would be so easy just to be the hot chick that does the music and fucking, but she raises money. She brings fucking Robert Smith out to do Cure songs on tour in front of a bunch of fucking Gen Z people who probably have never listened to The Cure. Like, that's fucking cool. She brings Haley Williams out to jam to Paramore, etc. Like, you could do so much worse. We don't mean to compare women, but you could use your fame to be like, I don't want to be bothered. You know? We're not going to say the name, but we know who it is. Like, it is what it is. So, yeah, I'm psyched. June 12th, Olivia Rodrigo. It happened right before I decided to record, and it made my day. We have new Olivia Rodrigo to stay alive for another 2 months and 10 days. 11 days or so. So excited. But it is my birthday on Monday. If you wanted to, Venmo me some money. At Ray Roberts Comedy. Share the podcast. That's a great gift. I also but for real, like, I put up a donation link on the Facebook and Instagram for the Greater Chicago Food Depository, a place that I used to give money to when I had money to give to it. Anytime that I have extra money, that's one of the charities that I give money to. Them and NAMI, the National Alliance for Mental Health or something. I don't know. Mental illness, whatever. You know NAMI, NAMI. Give them money. I'm turning 36. Give them $36. Give $36. Or last year when I asked people for $36 or $35 for my 35th birthday, somebody gave me $3.50. Give $3.60 to the Greater Chicago Food Depository in my honor. Or give $36. Give $360. Whatever amount you need to do it. They need money. People need to eat, and it's more expensive to eat now than probably ever in your lifetime. But thanks for listening. At Ray Roberts Comedy on everything. I love you. Keep living your life. And have some fun. It's dark times. But after the darkest dawn comes the whatever the fuck that is. All right, bye.